Some churches resume normal service while others remain online. No new COVID-19 cases for the past 2 weeks. And in sports, the TNT government awaits final word from health officials on the staging of the CPL.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
And a very good evening to you with Newsnight. I'm Lisa Lord in our top story. It's the first Sunday since government's latest COVID-19 directive, which allows the reopening of churches with certain guidelines. And while the return to all church buildings was anticipated, it did not materialize. In fact, the majority of church leaders opted to retain virtual sessions for now, while a handful resumed in-building worship. Our Rianne Phillips tells us more.
The Anglican Church and the New Testament Church of God were just two of several denominations that continued virtual services today instead of in-person worship. Anglican Bishop Michael Maxwell says after internal discussions, they have decided not to resume regular services until June 21st.
And we are of the opinion that some of the protocols are too stringent and a few are ambiguous. We therefore agreed that before moving forward, further clarity should be sought to realize a common understanding of all the protocols, a full compliance thereafter, and for all our churches to reopen as safe havens for safe worship without being liable to any penalties.
And Administrative Bishop of the New Testament Church of God, Dr. Ken Ray Burke, says they have adopted the same reopening date for several reasons.
We felt it was necessary for us to put a pause on it because, as I said to you, several of those requirements could not have been met at this point in time, as well as we felt as though it would give us time to be able to thoroughly prepare for the reopening of our sanctuaries.
And the Catholic Church has not finalized a date.
We continue to converse and dialogue with the powers that be to make sure that we understand and that to ensure that we have all the requirements in place. So that's why we haven't given you word as yet. And why all of this? Because we want to make sure, we want to make certain that when we open, people are comfortable, they're confident.
However, a few churches, including New Dimensions Ministries and the Ministry of Healing Waters, resumed physical services today. The team from New Dimensions has tailored policies in line with the national directive, including an alphabet system and provisions for 280 worshippers. However, the surname system is up for review.
As we looked at our membership, we have, I think, more people from A to H than we do from I to Z or Z. And if that is the case, then we'll just open it from next week. And if you want to come back, fine, we'll suspend the alphabetical system until things get better, so you'll be able to come back next week, yeah? Along with those from I to Z.
Persons made sure they had on a mask, they were given the temperature checks and sanitizing. So we intend to remain on the right side of the law, basically, you know, as we continue to serve our God. We know that our God, He has the final say.
While these churches have resumed face-to-face services on Sundays, their midweek sessions will continue to be streamed. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
Well, there have been no new COVID-19 cases in Barbados for more than 2 weeks. According to the latest update, all 30 people tested for the viral illness yesterday were negative. The Besto Santos Public Health Lab has now conducted 5,900 tests since February 11th. The first 2 cases on the island were diagnosed back on March 16th. Since then, there have been 92 confirmed cases of COVID-19. 81 people have recovered and 7 succumbed to the virus. 4 persons remain at the isolation facility at Harrison Point in St. Lucie. Well, secondary schools reopen tomorrow, albeit on a phased basis to accommodate students completing their Caribbean Examinations Council school-based assessments and internal assessments for the Caribbean vocational qualifications. The Ministry of Education, Technological and Vocational Training is ensuring all protocols will be in place to safeguard staff and students. Students are expected to attend school in full uniform and must wear a mask. Hand sanitizer will be issued to persons coming into the school, but students are encouraged to also walk with their own. They are reminded to practice good hygiene and physical distancing by staying 6 feet apart. Now, preparation continues for the return of Class 4 students preparing to sit the 11+ exam. Acting Chief Education Officer Joy Adamson says meetings have been held with principals and teachers, and education officials are preparing all the protective equipment.
Face shields, face mask for the teachers. We'll be distributing all of that this week. And I am interacting with as many parents as I possibly can, the Class 4 parents, and answering any of their concerns as they go back into school. Obviously, it will be, everybody's a little apprehensive moving out, but we have put all the measures in place, so we are satisfied that things should be ready. And we will monitor this week how things work out.
The Barbados Water Authority's Fort George Reservoir is empty, and that is being blamed on a burst 9-inch main in Bell Gully, St. Michael. Residents and businesses in several parts of St. Michael and Christchurch were impacted by outages and low water pressure today. The BWA says it will provide updates and tankers will continue to be dispatched to the affected areas. And the authority is promising a thorough investigation into an incident involving one of its tankers and a resident. The incident has gone viral on social media. A female resident who is apparently recording the incident is complaining about the tanker being a few meters away from the entrance to her home. She apparently wanted the driver to move closer to her entrance before she accessed the water, but that did not happen. The BWA says while the precise details of this incident are unknown, it has apologized to all the parties involved. Well, Barbadians from tomorrow will be paying less at the pumps for petroleum products. Effective midnight tonight, the retail prices of gasoline, diesel and kerosene will all go down. Gasoline will drop by 29 cents, moving from $3.09 per liter to $2.80 a liter. Diesel is being reduced by 23 cents from $2.52 per liter to $2.29 per liter, and kerosene from 73 cents per liter to 63 cents per liter. Labor Minister Colin Jordan says he is generally satisfied with the execution of COVID-19 safety protocols by employers at various business places and government departments across the island. However, he is still urging employees who may be concerned about a lack of protocols at their workplaces to alert officials at the Labor Department as soon as possible.
I am generally happy. That is not to say that we don't have to be out there and checking. And we are asking workers, if you feel uncomfortable about your workplace, please call. The numbers are on the GIS website. Call the Labor Department. There are landline numbers, and they, if not yet, will shortly be cell phone numbers as well. Please call the Labor Department so that if deemed necessary, an inspection can be done.
The minister adds that the Occupational Safety and Health section of the Labor Department and the Environmental Protection Agency in the Ministry of Health and Wellness are the two main entities spearheading the inspections.
We have done some inspections already in relation to persons who raised concerns. Generally speaking, we believe that it is going relatively well, but we remain focused and vigilant. We're asking people, workers, to remain focused and vigilant as well, and to inform us if there's a situation that puts them at risk and puts others at risk.
With the second World Food Safety Day being observed today, officials have been calling for more food safety protocols to be implemented and enforced. PAHO WHO representative to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Dr. Yatadis Jabre, says safety standards ensure food is fit for consumption.
Safety standards and practices must be applied throughout the food chain, from primary production, transport, processing, distribution, sale, and consumption. Lack of good practices at any stage of the food chain can expose food to chemical and microbiological hazards and trigger these diseases, which accentuates those most vulnerable groups.
Dr. Timothy Harris has been sworn in for a second term in office as Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. He led his Team Unity coalition to victory at the polls on Friday, sweeping 9 of the 11 seats. He says their success at the polls is a vindication of their excellent work done on behalf of the people.
And I promise that I will not let you down. I promise the administration which I will lead will not let down the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Today, the work of building more homes, bigger and larger, of creating new jobs and new opportunities for our young people, and continuing to keep our people and country safe. Today, that work begins in earnest. We shall create the modern history of St. Kitts and Nevis by making it the example of the best managed small island state. That is my pledge, and that is my commitment.